Hello everyone. Um, want to make another video this time to speak about the rapture and why shouldn't you miss it. I don't know if everyone knows what really is the rapture or the meaning of the rapture. I don't know, which backgrounds of the viewers, So I'm just going to briefly explain what the rapture is. So the rapture pretty much is when Jesus comes and removes his chosen ones from this earth, so that they won't be, enduring any more of the tribulation, and taking them out of this pretty much disgusting world and disgusting system. So why shouldn't you miss the rapture? I'm just going to give a briefly experience that I had. So I asked God to show me in my dreams which one of us in my family would be saved, because I kept praying to God to, not to let me go, not to be raptured if any of my family was to be left behind. When I mean family, I mean my children, if any of my children, my children was to be left behind. So I fell asleep, and then I had this dream. I was at the beach, and then it was kind of like, when after the sunset, it was really like getting dark, almost nighttime, but between sunset and nighttime, the weather was kind of like that. The day was kind of like that. Let's say late afternoon, something like that. It looked like late afternoon. So then I was at the beach, and then I started seeing people being lifted up in the air, and I was being lifted up too. But I was on my own at the beach. So I started getting all panicking, like, why am I getting up? Why? No, I don't want to go. I don't know, because I didn't know where my children were. My children were with me at the time. So then I kind of rejected. Obviously, in the real rapture, that won't be allowed, You're not going to have that free will to choose. Anyone who has their name on the book of life going to go through, whether you like it or not, whether you prepare, whether you recognize what's happening or not, you're still going to go through. But yeah, in a dream, I rejected going in the rapture because I didn't know where my kids were at and if they were being raptured as well. So then I went straight away. I came down. I reject going. I stood down on earth, and then I went looking after them. In the next second, I was at this place. It looked like hospital center or something like that. In English we call it GP, but I don't know how they call it in worldwide, but I'll just say like a center, hospital center or something like that. And I saw there my son, my eldest son. He's now 14 years old. I saw my eldest son there and my ex-husband. They were the two ones left behind. I have 4 children, and the 3 little ones, they went through, they had been raptured. So when I reached there and I noticed that only my son, my eldest son, and my ex-husband were left behind, I just felt so disappointed. I felt really disappointed, not because, they didn't get raptured, but also because I reject being raptured, thinking that, my little ones were left behind, but then they had been raptured too. And I felt really, really stressed out especially because these 2 people, my eldest son and my ex-husband, I've been telling them over and over to worship God with all their hearts and all their mind, not only for their mouths, not only when they were in trouble, because most of us only worship God when we are in trouble, but we don't show love for Him. We don't do any works for Him. We don't speak about Him. You know, we only remember God when we are in trouble, when we need Him. Okay, so these two individuals pretty much like that. So I was so angry. I was so angry with my own self for rejecting to be raptured and staying in this world because of not knowing who were left behind from my own family or not. And I tell you the truth. Don't be left behind. Not being raptured and being left behind, it's not wise at all for no one. In behalf of no one. That's what I mean. There's no point. It's not wise to be left behind for you rejecting your rapture, right? On behalf of anyone. Because the feeling, the energy of it's going to be left in this world is absolutely awful. What I can compare with it is just pretty much if you remember your worst nightmare, right? Do you remember that dread, that feeling of fear that you feel of persecution, you know, that comes from persecution, right? That you have someone chasing you. If you know your worst nightmare that you ever had of having somebody chasing you, being chased in a dream to be killed, right? Is that feeling now multiply it 1,000 times. Because you're going to feel like that 24/7. And I tell you something, if you know you're not the sort of person that is able to kill anyone, that is not capable to do anything bad towards anyone, not even in self-defense, if you know you're not the sort of person that is capable of doing that, you better be raptured. You better be raptured. You better do your best to be raptured, to have your name in the book of life. Do you understand me? Because at that time, people will perceive who are the people who are more soft. And they're going to be chasing you really bad. You're not going to have place to hide. It's not like that time, it's not going to be the time like you're going to come at home, you lock your doors and nobody's going to come in. That time is not like that. They just burst your windows, they'll just burst your door, you know, because not going to have any police. Only people who are really bad and who are really lukewarm with God, like undecided, like 1 foot here, 1 foot there, 1 foot in the world, 1 foot in the God, these are the people going to be left behind. Do you understand? And you're not going to have anyone to run to, because all the good people are going to be out of this world, and so is God's love, because God's love and God's eyes is still on this earth just because of the good people. And so is angels still coming on this earth as well because of the good people. But by that time, after the rapture, he's going to say, I've tried, you guys didn't listen, now sort yourselves out. And people who are going to be left behind, they're going to be left behind with absolutely, in an absolutely chaos, nightmare. Nightmare. If you want to believe, you believe. If you don't want to believe, you leave it. He showed me another one after the rapture again, right? And at that time, he didn't show me being raptured, just show me experiencing what was going to be the life after the rapture, right? And it was pretty much just gangs everywhere. They just took over the world. You know, they would walk, you know, like how they show for, you know, terrorists, how they do it. You know what I mean? That's what they're doing. And it's not because you have the law or police. Nothing. You don't have nothing left. You're just running from morning to night. Your heart banging 24/7. Your heart is racing 24/7. Carrying children, your own children, because if you don't search for the truth, if you don't teach your own children what is right, their own blood is in your head. And if you are not, if your deeds are not good, they're going to be left behind as well. Because we are responsible for our own children. This is again a big reason for us to search for the truth. That our children's blood not going to be in our heads. Because we're going to feel so bad for it. Absolutely awful for it. So this is why you shouldn't miss the rapture. Make sure you do everything that for your name to be on that book that is about to close down. That is about to close down. If we miss that chance to have our names there, we're going to be left behind. We're going to so be left behind. If you have true love for your own self, make sure that your name is there. You do everything for your name to be there. Because if you don't, you're going to suffer the big suffering that you never, ever, ever suffered in your life. Because at that time, you're not going to die. You're just going to endure torment from torment after torment after torment. So be wise. Be very wise. Make the right choices. This is not about a joke. This is not a lie. And what makes me more upset about all these things is this, right? I wanted to look for, something to, illustrate it. But this is people and this is God, right? People, God. People need God so bad, the way exactly that He is, exactly the way that He is. And God also needs people so much and love people so much. But then you see this gap here that is in between people and God. This gap here is the gap that is being built by these big lies that come from Satan. Satan is in the middle, and it's these lies that have to go out in order to unite people with God. If there is no one who ever gonna see how God truly is and know how God truly is, they're not gonna fall in love for Him right back. There is no one. But because of this gap that is filled with lies coming from this idiot called Satan, this useless being that has ever existed, betrayer that has ever existed, called Satan, right? That built all these massive lies that have separated people from God and also our own sins, right? This is why this gap still exists. But when you find out the truth and when you change your life by coming close to God, because God is light, right? And His own light will wash away the darkness inside of you that is in you. So don't wait to change. Just run to God straight away. And His own light is what is going to remove the whole darkness from you. Okay? Take it seriously. So automatically, that space, that wall, that separation that is built with the lie, that has been built with the lie, it's going to be destroyed. And going to be like this, people and God. Okay? So I'll pray that you be strong, you be saved. You won't miss the chance to be raptured. You be wise and show love for your own self and show love for your loved ones as well. Because you know in the truth you save yourself and themselves also. And I say all these words in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Bye-bye.